Father, may it be your words, not mine. Sabbath shalom, everyone, and welcome to Servants of Yahuwah, Yeshua of Okmulgee, Oklahoma. Our Torah portion today is going to be the book of Shemot, or Exodus, chapter 3, verse 1 through 4, verse 13. The book of Exodus, Shemot, chapter 3, the very first verse, and we're going to go to chapter 4, verse 13. Our Haftarah portion, of course, is Isaiah 40, 10 through 31. And our Brit Hadashah, or New Testament portion, is the book of Acts, chapter 7, 23 through 35. And I titled this message, I Am Who I Am, or Iya Asher Iya, I Am Who I Am, and you shall not take the name of Yahuwah, your Elohim, in vain. Chapter 3, verse 1. Is everybody ready? Meanwhile, Moshe was shepherding the flocks of his father-in-law Jethro, the priest of Midian. He took the flocks to the far side of the wilderness and came to Horeb, the mountain of Yahuwah. And the angel of Yahuwah appeared to him in a flame of fire within the bush. As Moshe looked, he saw that the bush was on fire, but it was not consumed. So Moshe thought, I must go over to look at this remarkable sight. Why isn't this bush burning up? When Yahuwah saw that he had gone over to look, Yahuwah looked at him from the bush, or called to him, out to him from the bush. Moshe, Moshe, here I am, he answered. Do not come close, he said. Remove the sandals from your feet, for the place where you are standing is kadosh ground, holy ground. Then he continued, I am the Elohim of your fathers, the Elohim of Abraham, the Elohim of Yitzhak, and the Elohim of Yaakov, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Moshe hid his face because he was afraid to look at Elohim. Then Yahuwah said, I have observed the misery of my people in Egypt, and have heard them cry out because of their oppressors, and I know about their suffering. I have come down to rescue them from the power of the Egyptians, and to bring them from that land to a good and spacious land, a land flowing with milk and honey, a territory of the Canaanites, Hittites, the Amorites, the Perizzites, Hivites, and the Jebusites. The Israelites' cry for help has come to me, and I have also seen the way the Egyptians are oppressing them. Therefore, go. I am sending you to Pharaoh so that you may lead my people, the Israelites, out of Mitzrayim, out of Egypt. But Moshe asked Elohim, who am I that I should go to Pharaoh and that I should bring the Israelites out of Egypt? And he answered, I will certainly be with you, and this will be the sign to you that I have sent you. When you bring the people out of Egypt, you will all worship Elohim at this mountain. Then Moshe asked Elohim, if I go to the Israelites and say to them, the Elohim of your fathers has sent me to you, and they ask me, what is his name? What shall I tell them? And Elohim replied to Moshe, I am who I am. This is what you shall say to the Israelites. I am has sent me to you. Then Elohim also said to Moshe, say to the Israelites, Yahuwah, the Elohim of your fathers, the Elohim of Abraham, the Elohim of Isaac, and the Elohim of Jacob has sent me to you. This is my name forever. This is my name forever. This is my name forever. This is how I am to be remembered in every generation. Go and assemble the elders of Israel, Yasharel, and say to them, Yahuwah, the Elohim of your fathers, the Elohim of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, has appeared to me and said, I have paid close attention to you and what has been done to you in Egypt. And I have promised you that I will bring you up from this misery of Egypt to the land of the Canaanites, Hittites, Amorites, Perizzites, Hittites, and Jebusites, a land flowing with milk and with honey. They will listen to what you say. Then you, along with the elders of Israel, must go to the king of Egypt and say to him, Yahuwah, the Elohim of the Hebrews, has met with us. Now please let us go on a 3 days journey or trip into the wilderness so that we may sacrifice to Yahuwah our Elohim. However, I know that the king of Egypt will not allow you to go unless he is forced by a strong hand. And I will stretch out my hand and strike Egypt with all my miracles that I will perform in it. After that, he will let you go. And I will give these people such favor in the sight of the Egyptians that when you go, you will not go empty-handed. Each woman will ask her neighbor, and any woman staying in her house for silver, or gold jewels and clothing, and you will put them upon your sons and your daughters, so that you will plunder the Egyptians. Then Moshe answered, what if they won't believe me and will not obey me, but say, Yahuwah did not appear to you? And Yahuwah asked him, what is it that is in your hand? A staff, he replied. Then he said, throw it to the ground. He stretched it out on the ground, and it became a snake. Moshe ran from it, but Yahuwah told him, stretch out your hand and grab it by the tail. So he stretched out his hand and catch it, and it became a staff in his hands. This will take place, he continues, so they will believe that Yahuwah, the Elohim of your fathers, the Elohim of Abraham, the Elohim of Isaac, and the Elohim of Jacob, has appeared to you. In addition, Yahuwah said to him, put your hand inside of your cloak. So he put his hand inside of his cloak. And when he took it out, his hand was diseased, white as snow, leprosy. So he said, put your hand back into your cloak. And he put his hand back into his cloak. And when he took it out, it had again become like the rest of his skin. So they will not believe you. So if they will not believe you and will not respond to the evidence of the first sign, then they may believe the evidence of the second sign. And if they don't believe even the 2 signs or listen to what you say, then take the water from the Nile and pour it upon the dry ground. The water that you take from the Nile will become blood upon the ground. But Moshe replied to Yahuwah, please, Master, I have never been eloquent, neither in the past nor recent, or since you have been speaking to your servant, because I am slow and hesitant to speak. Yahuwah said to him, who made the human mouth? Who makes him mute or deaf, seeing or blind? Is it not I, Yahuwah? Now go, I will help you speak and will teach you what to say. And Moshe said, please, Master, send someone else. By the way, did you know that with the snake there, when you really study that word snake, when he threw it down the staff and turned it to a snake, really it's talking about a dragon, a lizard form. Okay, in our Haftarah portion, I just thought of that. It's not part of my message today, but I just remember from long ago when I was studying that snake, when you really dig into it, it's talking about a lizard, something that blows fire, or what we would call a dragon. Isaiah, Yeshayahu, chapter 40, verse 10 through 31. Not that I have a problem with a snake either, because they're both saying the same thing. A reptile. This is Isaiah, chapter 40, our Haftarah portion. Isaiah 40, 10 through 31. 40, 10 through 31. See, the Master Yahuwah comes with strength, and his power establishes his rule. Pause for a second. Brandon, would you like to read this portion? Would you please? No, you come up and read the portion for me. Let someone else do a little bit of reading too, besides myself. 10 through 31, Brandon, if you would, please come on up. Isaiah 40, 10 to 31. Or go ahead, you can do it there too, Brandon, if you want.
All right. Isaiah 40, 10 to 31 says, behold, Adonai Yahweh will come with might, and his arm will rule for him. Behold, his reward is with him, and his work before him. He will feed his flock like a shepherd. He will gather the lambs with his arm and carry them in his bosom, and will gently lead those that are with young. Who has measured the waters in the hollow of his hand, and measured the heaven with a span, and comprehended the dust of the earth in a measure, and weighed the mountains in the scales and the hills in a balance? Who has directed the Spirit of Yah, and has taught him, being his counselor? With whom did he take counsel, and whom instructed him, and taught him in the path of judgment, and taught him knowledge, and showed him the way of understanding? Behold, the nations are like a drop in the bucket, and are counted as a small dust of the balance. Behold, he takes up the isles as very little thing. And Lebanon is not sufficient to burn, nor its animal sufficient for a burnt offering. All nations are as nothing before him, and they are counted to him less than nothing in vanity. To whom then will you liken God? Or what likeness will you compare to him? The graven image, a workman melted it, then the goldsmith spreads it over with gold and casts silver chains. He that is too impoverished that he has no offering chooses a tree that will not rot. He is seeking for himself a skillful workman to prepare a graven image that will not be removed. Have you not known? Have you not heard? Has not been told you from the beginning? Have you not understood from the foundations of the earth? It is he who sits on the circle of the earth, and its inhabitants are as grasshoppers, who stretches out the heavens like a curtain and spreads them out like a tent to dwell in, who brings the princes to nothing. He makes the judges of the earth as vanity. They will not be planted. They will not be sown. Their stock will not take root in the earth. And he will also blow them upon them, and they will wither. And the whirlwind will take them away as stubble. To whom then will you liken me, that I shall be equal, says the Holy One? Lift up your eyes on high, and behold the one who has created these things, who brings out their army by number. He calls them all by names, by the greatness of his might. For he is strong in power, and not one fails. Why do you say, O Jacob, and are speaking, O Israel, my way is hidden from Yah? My judgment is passed over my God. Have you not known, have you not heard, the everlasting God, Yahweh, the creator of the ends of the earth, does not faint nor is weary? There is no searching of his understanding. He gives power to the faint, and to those who have no might he increases strength. Even the youths will faint and be weary, and the young men will utterly stumble. But they that wait upon Yah will renew their strength, and they will mount up with eagles, as wings of eagles. They will run and not be weary, and they will walk and not grow faint.
And do I have someone who would like to read our New Testament portion, the book of Acts 7, 23 through 35? Anyone? Do I have any good readers here? John? Speaking to the mic, though, brother, when you read it. The book of Acts, chapter 7, 23 through 35.
The book of Acts, chapter 7, verses 23 through 25. Now, when he was 40 years old, it came into his heart to visit his brethren, the children of Israel. And seeing one of them suffer wrong, he defended and avenged him, who was oppressed, and struck down the Egyptian. For he was supposed that his brethren would have understood that God would deliver them by his hand, but they did not understand. And the next day he appeared to two of them as they were fighting, and tried to reconcile them, saying, Men, you are brethren, why do you wrong one another? But he who did his neighbor wrong pushed him away, saying, Who made you a ruler and a judge over us? Do you want to kill me as you did the Egyptian yesterday? Then at this saying, Moses fled and became a dweller in the land of Midian, where he had 2 sons. And when 40 years had passed, an angel of the Lord appeared to him in a flame of fire in a bush in the wilderness of Mount Sinai. When Moses saw it, he marveled at the sight. And as he drew near to observe, the voice of the Lord came to him, saying, I am the God of your fathers, the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob. And Moses trembled and dared not look. Then the Lord said to him, Take your sandals off your feet, for the place where you stand is holy ground. I have surely seen the oppression of my people who are in Egypt. I have heard their groaning, and have come down to deliver them. And now come, I will send you to Egypt. This Moses, whom they rejected, saying, Who made you a ruler and a judge, is the one God sent to be a ruler and a deliverer by the hand of the angel who appeared to him in the bush. He brought them out after he had shown wonders and signs in the land of Egypt, and in the Red Sea, and in the wilderness 40 years.
Just turn it off for me. All right, guys. This is going to be an exciting little lesson. I ask you for as much grace as possible. So you ready? Amen. Isn't the word of our Elohim, isn't it wonderful? There's so much wisdom and so much knowledge inside of it. It would take a lifetime to discern it all, and actually even more than that. In today's Torah portion, we find that after Moses flees for his life from Pharaoh, the Pharaoh of Egypt, he has an encounter with the Elohim of his fathers on Mount Sinai, and is a pivot moment in all of biblical history. This is a pivot event in all of biblical history. The story and character of Moses is so powerful that it has spanned the human history for the last 3,500 years. I mean, you tell me, has there been anybody who's ever been written in history that's known everywhere? This event was powerful. The miracles Yahuwah performed to free his people, Israel, from slavery has been the focus point in every single Passover, from Egypt to the crucifixion of the Passover Lamb of Yahuwah the Messiah 2,000 years ago. The Exodus story of Passover is supposed to be kept and told to every generation, from generation to generation, forever. After the defeat of the Egyptians in Exodus 12, Moshe, by the hand of Yahuwah, led the Israelites out of Egypt, crossing the Red Sea, and traveled to the Sinai desert, where they set up their tents in front of the mountain 3 months later, and that's Exodus 19. It is then that Yahuwah called Moses up to the mountain and instructing him to speak to the children of Israel, to prepare them to hear the voice of their Elohim and to receive the words directly from his mouth. It was there that all who believed in him, in Yahuwah, both native-born Israelites and all sojourners, declared with one voice. And the people answered. This is Exodus 19, verses 8. It says, and all the people responded, and all that Yahuwah has spoken we will do. Understand that when the children of Israel came out of the land of Egypt, it was not just the native-born sons of Jacob, right? We know that. The scripture says that they were a mixed multitude of people, meaning that they were both native-born, of the descendants of those of Jacob who came into the land of Egypt, but it was also the population of Egypt, kind of like here in America. Are there a mixed multitude of people here in this country? Are we not e pluribus unum? Well, from many nations comes one. Yes, Egypt was exactly that too back then. They were a nation that had all kinds of nationalities of people who had come to one place to live, a lot of times in slavery, but because of what happened in the portions before, because of the famine that went across the whole land, they all decided to come where there was food. There were millions upon millions upon millions of people living here. Imagine you being there and seeing all that Moshe said, seeing all of the miracles that Yahuwah said, and that you were saturated in the Egyptian culture to their gods. Do you think that maybe you might have changed who you believed was God after seeing the 10 things that Yah did to free the children of Israel? Do you think that maybe by the 10th one that you would have put some lamb's blood upon your doorpost too? Do you think that maybe when all these people started to get out of Dodge, that maybe you would have probably packed bags and decided to go with them too? I know, at least I believe, at least I would hope, that I would be there too. Because this is something, Yahuwah didn't just do something that we see every day. He didn't just do something that we see in every generation. What he did was not common. What he did was kadosh. What he did was set apart, holy. His events of what he did with Egypt that we're about to read here in the coming weeks has spanned 3,500 years. It is exactly what, understand, everything that we have written in the book of Genesis, Bereshith, was given to Moses at Sinai. We wouldn't have it if it wasn't for this event that just happened right here, or that we're about to read about. Okay? Everything that we believe hinges on this very event that we are about to study in the coming weeks. So Yah brings his people out. Okay? And before he even speaks to them, he goes to Moses and says, I'm going to give you some words to speak to my people, but they have to prepare themselves. And the people said, all that Yah said, we don't care. Whatever he says, he's our God. Whatever he says, that we will do. That should be our hearts, brothers and sisters. That it does not matter what page a commandment or a law of our Elohim is upon. If it's on Genesis, great. If it's in Revelations, great. If it's any on a page in between, if he's our Elohim, his word is the same yesterday, today, and forevermore. And therefore, we should be trying our best to obey it no matter what, to the best of our ability. This declaration to Yahuwah indicated their covenant commitment to follow Yahuwah's commandments, his laws, his instructions, and his right rulings forever. It didn't matter. This reflects a biblical principle that emphasizes faithfulness and obedience to always follow Yahuwah, his holy word. This heart and attitude should be the heart and attitude of every believer, no matter what generation or time we were born in. Even now, it should be our heart. We should not be debating whether we should be obeying the God that we say is our Elohim. If he is our Elohim, if he is our God, we should be obeying him. Moshe's first ascension to the Mount of Sinai is when he received the first instructions on how to teach or instruct the children of Israel to be pure, to purify themselves by washing with water, and to be ready by the third day to hear with their very ears the voice of Yahuwah. If you would, please turn with me to Exodus 19. I'm building something up for the main purpose of what I'm trying to teach today. And that is how to honor Yahuwah's commandment to not take his name in vain. Exodus 19, verse 1. In the third month, Exodus 19, verse 1. In the third month, on the exact same day of the month that the Israelites had left the land of Mitzrayim, they entered the wilderness of Sinai. After they departed from Rephidim, they entered the wilderness of Sinai and camped in the wilderness, and Israel camped there in front of the mountain. Moshe went up to the mountain of Yahuwah, and Yahuwah called him from the mountain. This is what you must say to the house of Jacob, and explain to the Israelites. You have seen what I did to the Egyptians, and how I carried you on eagle's wings and brought you out to me. Now, if you will listen, Shema, to me, and be careful to keep my covenant, you will be my own possession out of all the peoples, although all the earth is mine, and you will be a kingdom of priests and a holy nation. These are the words that you are to say to the Israelites. After Moshe came back, he summoned the elders of the people and set them before them all the words that Yahuwah had commanded him. Then all the people responded together, we will do all that Yahuwah has spoken. Understand, they made that declaration before even hearing the 10 words. So Moshe brought the people's words back to Yahuwah. And Yahuwah said to Moses, I am going to come to you in a dense cloud, so that the people will hear when I speak with you and will always believe you. How long is always? Then Moshe, who said that? That's right. Olam. Then, forever. It's a Hebrew for forever. Then Moshe reported the people's words to Yahuwah, and Yahuwah told Moshe, go to the people and consecrate them today and tomorrow. Listen to this, guys. They must wash their clothes and be prepared by the third day. By the third day. By the third day. For on the third day, the Lord will come down on Mount Sinai in sight of all the people. Put boundaries for the people all around the mountains and say, be careful to do that you do not go up to the mountain or touch its base. Anyone who touches the mountain will be put to death. No hand may touch him. Instead, he will be stoned or shot with an arrow. No animal or man will live. When the ram horn sounds a long blast, when the ram's horn, the trumpet, sounds a long blast, they may go up to the mountain. Oh, am I not hearing spiritual, the Holy Spirit speaking to us, showing us things that Paul was speaking about in the New Testament? What's that about? I will today and tomorrow, but I will be back. On the third day, the 2 denarius, it's all connected. Then Moshe came down to the mountain to the people and consecrated them. And they washed their clothes, and he said to the people, be prepared by the 3rd day. Be prepared by the 3rd day. Do not have sexual relationships with women. On this day, on the 3rd day, when morning comes, there was thunder and lightning, a thick cloud on the mountain, and a loud trumpet sound, so that all the people in the camp shuddered. Then Moshe brought the people out of the camp to meet Yahuwah, and they stood at the foot of the mountain. Mount Sinai was completely enveloped with smoke because Yahuwah came down on it in fire. Its smoke went up like the smoke of a furnace. Its smoke went up like the smoke of a furnace. Talking Revelation here, guys. And the book of Revelation. And the whole mountain shook violently. And the sound of the trumpet grew louder and louder. Moshe spoke with it, and Elohim answered him in the thunder. This is the message of the 7 thunders, guys. Yahuwah came down on Mount Sinai on top of the mountain. Then Yahuwah summoned Moshe to the top of the mountain, and he went up. And Yahuwah directed Moshe, go down and warn the people not to break through to see Yahuwah. Otherwise, many of them will die. Even the priests who came near to Yahuwah must purify themselves, and Yahuwah will break out in anger against them. But Moshe responded to Yahuwah, the people cannot come up Mount Sinai since you have warned us. Put a boundary around the mountain and consider it kadosh, consider it holy. And Yahuwah replied to him, go down and come back with Aaron. But the priest and the people must not break through to come up to Yahuwah, or he will break out in anger against him. So Moses went down to the people and told them, and this was Yahuwah's answer to the people after they had said that all he would do, that they would do all that he had said. This is his answer to them. This is Deuteronomy, the chapter 5, verse 29. Now remember, Exodus account of Exodus 20 and Deuteronomy 5 is the exact same thing. It's a conversation between Yah and his people, between Moses and Yah. It just one was being written right at Mount Sinai, or the book of Exodus and Genesis, Exodus, and the book of Deuteronomy was his account of his memory back 40 years later at the end of the wilderness. He's retelling the story, okay? So this is Deuteronomy 5:29. This is Yah's answer to Moses after the children of Israel had given their declaration that all that he would say, whatever he would say, they would do. And this is Deuteronomy 5, verses 29. Yahuwah spoke these commandments in a loud voice to your entire assembly from the fire, cloud, and thick darkness on the mountain. And he added nothing more. He wrote them on 2 tablets and gave them to me. All of you approached me with your tribal leaders and elders when you heard the voice from the darkness, and while the mountain was ablaze with fire, you said, look, Yahuwah our Elohim has shown us his glory and greatness, and there we have heard his voice from the fire. Today we have seen that Elohim speaks with a person, yet he still lives. But now, why should we die? This great fire will consume us, and we will die if we hear the voice of Yahuwah our Elohim any longer. For who out of all of mankind has heard the voice of the living Elohim speaking from the fire, and as we have and lived? Go near. Listen to what they say, guys, because this is critical. This is critical in understanding. Go near and listen to everyone. Listen to everything Yahuwah your Elohim says. Then you can tell us everything Yahuwah our Elohim tells us. We will listen and obey. Understand, this was said after he spoke the 10 words. So there was something further that Yah was speaking to them other than the 10 words. Yahuwah heard your words when you spoke to me. He said to me, I have heard the words that these people have spoken to you. Everything they have said is right. If only they had such a heart in them. This is it, guys, right here. If only they had such a heart in them to fear me and to keep my commandments always, so that they and their children will prosper forever. How long's forever? Forever. The phrase, oh, that they would have such a heart in them, in Deuteronomy 5:29, expresses a longing for all to have a sincere desire to fear Elohim and to keep his commandments always and forever. This verse emphasizes the importance of having a circumcised heart inclined to always be faithful to Yah, always giving reverence to Him, and always be willing to be obedient to Him. This suggests that such a heart would always lead to our prosperity, good health, and well-being. It also highlights the desire in God's own heart, in His heart, that He desires a relationship with us, that He desires our faithfulness. He desires our devotion and our love and our obedience to His covenant words, to His Torah, His inspired teachings, His instructions to eternal life. The Hebrew word for fear, and we got on this last week, but the Hebrew word for fear is yahra, meaning to be in fear with trembling, to be afraid, to be fearful, to be frightened, to give honor and reverence to be in awe, to give the highest respect to. The fear of the Lord is in the Bible refers to a profound reverence, awe even, and respect for Yah, recognizing His power and His authority, His kingship, which leads to a moral conduct and giving us spiritual wisdom. It is not merely about being afraid of Him. Rather, it involves a deep respect that influences how believers live our lives within the world. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of our spiritual edification by learning His wisdom. Throughout all the Bible, the fear of the Lord is always connected to obedience to His word, His Torah. It's His wisdom from above and covenant faithfulness and relationship with Him. The Hebrew word for forever, Brandon said it a while ago, olam. He's right. Meaning forever, perpetual, continual, eternity, everlasting, forever and ever, without end, beyond time and mind and space, actually. If you would, let's turn to Exodus 20. Meaning that when Yah says that His word and His commandments are to be kept by His people forever, and that in His heart He desires that His people would have such a heart in them that they would fear Him and obey His commandments forever, that forever didn't end on the cross, by the way, that some believe today. That's not forever, is it? Matter of fact, Christ said in Matthew 5:17 that forever would be till heaven and earth are recreated. Matthew 5:17-20, right? Has heaven and earth been recreated? No. Beyond space, time. Exodus 20, the 10 Commandments chapter. Exodus 20, 1-26. It says, And Elohim spoke all these words, saying, I am Yahuwah your Elohim, which have brought thee out of the land of Mitzrayim, out of Egypt, and out of the house of bondage. Thou shalt have no other Elohims before my face, or the gods before me. Thou shalt not make unto thee any graven images or any likeness of anything that is in the heavens above or on the earth beneath or in the waters under the earth. Thou shalt not bow thyself down to them, nor serve them, for I, Yahuwah thy Elohim, am a jealous El, visiting the iniquities of the fathers upon the children unto the third and fourth generation of them that hate me, but showing mercy to thousands of generations of those who love me and keep my commandments. You understand, we haven't even come close to fulfilling that generations.
How many thousands?
Thousands of generations. Hasn't even come close. Now here's the main commandment that I want to teach on this Sabbath. Thou shalt not take the name of the Lord thy God in vain, for the Lord will not hold him guiltless that takes His name in vain. Of course we know, remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. 6 days shall they labor and do all thy work, but the seventh day is the Sabbath of the Lord thy God. In it thou shalt not do any work. You, nor your sons, nor your daughters, thy maidservants, nor the manservants or maidservants, nor thy cattle, nor thy stranger that was in thy gates. For in 6 days the Lord made the heavens and the seas and all that is in them, and rested on the seventh day. Therefore the Lord blessed Baruch the Sabbath day and hallowed it, declared it holy. Honor thy mother and thy father, that thy days may be long upon the land which Yahweh your Elohim hath giveth thee. Does anybody know what the other commandment? There's only one other commandment in all the Bible that God gives a promise of long life if you obey it. Does anybody know the other commandment? There's only two of them. That's right. Respecting your mother and father. There's only two commandments in all of the Bible that God gives a blessing of long life if you will obey. Does anybody know the other one? Brandon? That's right. That's right. Respecting nature. Yep. The least commandment in all the Bible. Respecting nature. Honor thy father. Okay, sorry, I said that one. And all the people saw the thunder and the lightning and the noise and the trumpet and the mountain smoking. And when the people saw it, they removed and stood afar off. And they said to Moshe, speak thou with us, and we will hear. But let not Elohim speak with us, lest we die. For Moses said unto the people, fear not, for Elohim is come to prove you, that his fear may be before your face, that you will not sin. See, that's the definition of sin, is not obeying his commandments. And the people stood afar off, and Moses drew near unto the thick darkness where Elohim was. And Yahweh said to Moshe, thus thou shalt say unto the children of Israel, you have seen that I have talked with you from the heavens, the Shamayim. And you shall not make with me. Now understand, he is still speaking. A lot of people just try to say that that Yah's was only speaking the 10 words. They fail to realize that he's still speaking here. Matter of fact, he speaks all the way from 20 to chapter 32. That's him speaking directly in the fire to Moses, or on the mountain with Moses. And Yahweh said to Moses, thou hast said unto the children of Israel, you have seen that I have talked with you from the Shamayim, and you shall not make with me golds of silver. Neither shall you make unto thee gods of gold. An altar of earth shall you make unto me, and shall sacrifice thereof thy burnt offerings, and thy peace offerings, and thy sheep, and thy oxen, and in all places where I record my name. Or in the Greek there, it says, where you make my name to be feared. I will come unto thee, and I will bless thee. And if thou wilt make me an altar of stone, thou shalt not build it or with hewn stones, for not strike a tool against it. For if thou lift up a tool upon it, thou hast polluted it. Neither shalt thou go up by step unto to mine altar, that thou nakedness not be discovered therein. The Hebrew word, here we go, guys. The Hebrew word, I am, Iyah, meaning to exist. When he says, I am that I am, here's what he's trying to say to Moses or to us. I am, Iyah. Okay, the first one, I am. Meaning to exist, to be, to become, to happen, to come to pass, to be done. This word is used over 3,500 times in the Tanakh, or the Old Testament. The Hebrew word for Ashir, so Iyah, Ashir, Iyah, I am that I am. This word functions as a relative pronoun meaning which, who, that, or a conjunction meaning that, to because, so that. Yah told Moses, I am that I am, to assert his self-existence and independence from all that is created. He's trying to, what he's saying by that is that I am set apart from all that is created. I'm the creator. This declaration signifies that Yahuwah is the ultimate being, subject to no other force or authority, for he alone is the supreme commander of all that is created. He's the supreme commander of the Shamayim and the earth, the Eretz. There's no higher authority here, is what he's trying to say. I'm it. It emphasizes his eternal nature and existence, affirming that he has always existed and will always exist, for Yahuwah is the uncreated one. For he is the uncreated one, without beginning or end. Everything else was created, not him. He is the uncreated one. I am that I am, the all-existing one, the uncreated one. This is what the idea that he is trying to convey to Moses, because understand, all of the gods of Egypt were all created. They were all born. Yes.
Like Moses asked him where he came from.
He did. Okay, he did. So this is very important because he's coming back, because understand, when the children of Israel had went into Egypt, the Elohim of your fathers, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, through that 400 years of slavery, remember, they had lore taught to them about what God did. The Elohim of Abraham, all the stories, they carried that in legend, stories through their life. So understand that when he's coming here and seeing this burning bush, Yahuwah is trying to say to him, I'm just not just any God that you've learned about in Egypt. No, sir. I am the one who spoke to your fathers. I am the Elohim of Abraham, of Isaac, and Jacob, and I am your Elohim. And then he's trying to tell him that I'm not just like them gods that you have been taught when you were in Egypt. They were all born, created, They're not even gods. I am the living Elohim of all creation. I created everything. The name, here we go, guys. Much grace, please. The name Yahweh, in Hebrew is represented as the name of the creator of heaven, the Shamaim, and of the Retz, the earth. It consists of the Hebrew letters, the Yod, the Hey, the Wa or Vav, and the Hey again. Yahweh is the personal covenant name of our Creator. The pronunciation of the name Yahweh has evolved over time due to the absence of vowels in ancient Hebrew text. Does everybody understand what I'm talking about there? The vowel points in the Hebrew language hasn't always existed. So we quite don't know how to pronunciate the Hebrew language because the vowel points are very, recent. Okay? Yeah. The most common pronunciations of his name is Jehovah, Yahweh, Yehovah, and Yahuwah. These variations reflect the historical and cultural change in the way the name has been pronounced over time. The correct pronunciation is very, very debated. But the most widely accepted form is Yahweh, Yehovah, and Yahuwah. The reason Jehovah, not that I don't like it, I do, but the reason Jehovah isn't is because as our understanding of the Hebrew language has grown over time, we have learned that the pronunciation of J did not exist until around 600 years ago. Though the name of Yahuwah or Yahweh is used 6,800 times plus times in the Bible, I do not believe that the proper pronunciation of these letters should be taught as a salvational issue, but the character and the being behind the name of Yahweh is what really matters. What his name means to us. Many times, many take this verse to mean different things, Some believe that if you do not pronounce the name of Yahweh correctly, you have violated this commandment. And I'm talking about the commandment of thou shalt not take the name of the Lord thy God in vain. And for the Lord will not hold him guiltless who takes his name in vain. How many have ever heard that if you don't correctly pronunciate his name, you are in violation of this commandment? Many take this verse to mean different things. Some even believe that if you do not pronounce the name of Yahweh correctly, you have violated this commandment, which is a sin, by the way. But this is not what it says. This ain't what it says. The problem with this doctrine, is that not all Hebrew scholars agree 100% on how to pronunciate the Hebrew vowel points and letters. There is also much debate as to how long the vowel points have even existed to begin with. For most believe the vowel points are a little over 1,000 years old. We just don't know. We don't know. Shh. You can do a Google search on this topic and find 1,000 different blogs and even more YouTube videos, all proclaiming they have such divine inspiration on how to pronunciate the name, the sacred name. All are 100% their opinions. This also includes the proper name of the Messiah, too. Many believe it to be Jesus. Many believe his name to be Jesus. But again, we do know that the J sound, the pronunciation of the J sound, did not exist until around 600 years ago. So what is the Hebraic name of the Messiah? Most commonly used is Yeshua or Yahushua or something close to that. Here we go, guys. The evolution of the name of the Messiah. And you probably want to snap that one. Yahushua, the Hebrew, came about around the 14th century BCE. Then it turned into the Greek equivalent to the 3rd century, Jesus. And forgive me, I'm not proficient in Greek. Jesus, and then Jesus, the Christian Latin, around the 1st century AD, Jesus, and then the pronunciation of Jesus only came about in the 16th century. Guys, that was 400 or 500 years ago. Okay, the original King James Version Bible of the Bible, published in 1611, used the name Jesus, then later Jesus. This name is a transliteration from the Greek word Jesus, which is the same as the name used in the New Testament. The King James uses Jesus as a result from the Greek translation of the Old Testament, or known as the Septuagint, what we call the Septuagint, which transliterates the Hebrew name Joshua or Jesus. The original Hebrew root name for Jesus is something like Yeshua or Yahushua, right around there, which is an Aramaic form of the Hebrew name Yahushua, translated to Joshua in English. This name is derived from the Hebrew root meaning Yahweh is salvation. Okay, now we're going to go on to what really this commandment is trying to say. Thou shalt not take the name of the Lord thy God in vain, for the Lord will hold him guiltless, not hold him guiltless that takes his name in vain. What Exodus 20 verse 7 is saying literally in the Hebrew. What it's literally saying is, you shall not lift up or represent the name and character of Yahuwah falsely. The Hebrew word for Shem, okay, it's right there, means name, is also connected to the character of the one behind that name. Example, Baruch haba b'Shem Adonai, or Yahuwah is what it should be saying. But it means, blessed is he who comes in the name of the Lord, or Yahuwah. Baruch, Hebrew for blessed. Chaba, he who comes, or the one coming. B'Shem, in the name of, and Adonai, a respectful way of reference to the name of the Creator. The translations use the Lord, Yahuwah. Did you want a picture of that one?
That's when Messiah also says, you will not see me till they
That's right.
come off Hashem Adonai.
Yep. He's saying, you will not see me again until you learn to say this. That he's saying something, because he's not going to return until we understand what this passage is actually trying to say. Means,
Which is part of the original 10 Commandments.
yes, which I'm getting ready to go into that. Thou shalt not take the name of Yahweh thy God in vain, for the Lord will not hold him guiltless that takes his name in vain. What Exodus 27 is saying literally in the Hebrew, we as believers in Yah believes, those of us who believe in the Messiah Yeshua also, his set-apart people, we represent his name. We represent his character. We represent his identity upon the earth. It is also why we are called the body of Messiah. The reason we represent his name upon the earth is because he placed his name on us. He placed his character upon us. That's why we're made in his image and likeness. We're being conformed to the image of his Son. He placed his identity inside of us by the indwelling Ruach, his Holy Spirit. If we do not live up to, if we do not honor the commandments of Yahuwah as his set-apart people to be holy, then we have represented his name and his character and his identity falsely to the world, and have failed to be a light shining salvation, shining Yeshua into the darkness of this world. If we do not live up to, if we are not honoring Yahuwah's commandments, to be his set-apart people, to learn to be kadosh, what it means to be kadosh, learn to what it means to be holy as defined by him and not church doctrine, then we have represented his name, his character, and his identity falsely to the world, and have failed to be a light shining Yeshua's salvation in the darkness of this world. Have you ever heard someone say, I don't want to go to church over there? That whole place, I know people in there, they're all judgment. You ever heard that? I don't want to go over there. Guys, it's our job as the body of Messiah to properly represent Yahuwah to the world. We do so by love. We do so by kindness. We do so by gentleness. We do so by bearing forth the fruit of this Ruach inside of us to the world. To show love and kindness, to give food to the hungry, to give water to the thirsty, to give clothes to the naked, and to be an example of what it means to be obedient to Yah. I mean, if he is our God, shouldn't we be obeying his commandments? Because that is exactly what Messiah did. He was sinless, meaning he obeyed all of the commandments of Yahuwah that applied to him. And in 1 John 2, if we are to walk even as he walked, then we are to obey his commandments as well, because we represent the body of Messiah upon the earth. This is what this commandment means. It is not speaking of a correct pronunciation of the name of Yah or Yeshua correctly, but that it represents his name correctly by teaching others of Yah and to cause his name to be feared wherever we may live. So whether you have been baptized in Jesus' name or his Hebraic name, Yeshua or Yehoshua, it is the same individual being spoken of, really. The one we love and the one that we call Master. Well, that's a mouthful with a lot of people. Thou shalt not take the name of the Lord thy God in vain, or the Lord thy will not hold him guiltless that takes his name in vain. What Exodus 27 is literally saying in the Hebrew. Turn with me to the book of Numbers, Bin the Bar, the chapter 6, verse 22 through 27. Numbers chapter 6, verses 22 through 27. It says, Jehovah spoke to Moses, tell Aaron and his sons how you are to bless the Israelites. Say to them, may Jehovah bless you and protect you. May Jehovah make his face to shine upon you and be gracious to you. May Jehovah look up with favor on you and give you his shalom, his peace. In this way you will place my name upon the Israelites, and I will bless them. How do the Kohanim, the priests, place the name of Yahweh upon the children of Israel? Exactly, the Sheen. The Aaronic blessing is the very character of Yah placed upon his people to set them apart and bless them. The priests did so by teaching the people about Yah. They taught him how to hear his voice. They taught him how to follow his instructions, his Torah. When we follow him with a pure heart, to have his face to shine upon us, means that he has literally, what that's talking about, look at me, everyone. Look at me, everyone. What that's talking about, imagine the creator of the universe. When Yah's name is placed upon us and we are being fruitful and obedient to him, literally what it means is the creator of the universe is turning his face and looking in your eyes, every single one of you. That's what that's talking about. It means that the creator, our master, is looking direct. He's focusing directly at you. Woo! He's looking at the one sheep. The priests did so by teaching the people about Yah. They did so by teaching them how to hear his voice. They did so they did place his name upon it by teaching them how to follow his instructions, his Torah. When we follow him with a pure, circumcised heart, to have his face to shine upon us, it means that he literally is turning his face towards you, towards me, and directly looking at us individually and giving us his approval, his grace, his mercy, his love, his tender kindness, and his shalom. I wish I had put this, but also his discipline. Because those whom he loves, he rebukes and he disciplines, because he calls us his sons and daughters. His shalom to stand, and his shalom, his peace to stand still. Even he gives us his grace, his mercy, and his love, and his tender kindness, and his shalom, his peace to stand still, even in the midst of the storm. How do we receive Yahuwah's blessing and protection? By being faithful to Yah, trusting in his strength, his might, his power to defend and to guard us from all harm and danger. To abide in Messiah, Yeshua, continually through prayer, through fasting, through worship. What was Josh talking about just a while ago? He's saying it right here. To abide in Messiah through continual praying, to fasting, worshiping, by being in scriptural reading. He didn't even know what I was going to write today. He's quoting this very thing I just wrote. And being obedient to his commandments. In Hebrews chapter 12, guys. And I believe I'm almost to a close here. The book of Hebrews chapter 12. Verse 4. Hebrews 12, verse 4. We're going to look at verse 4, and we're going to look at verse 14. Now this is we don't know who wrote the book of Hebrews. I'm going to just say that right now. The book of Hebrews we don't know who wrote it, okay? Well, Paul is credited to it. I agree with you. Maybe Luke too. So it's contested as to who wrote it. We don't know. So Hebrews chapter 4. Listen to this, guys. Now, first off, what is sin? What is sin? 1 John 3:4. Sin is lawlessness. Lawlessness is the violation of the law, of God's law. Meaning, sin is defined by Yahuwah's word alone, not our opinions, not our pastor, not our church doctrine, but sin is defined by what His word says. If we're not keeping His laws, if we're not keeping His commandments, if we're not keeping His right rulings, then that is defined by Him as sin in His eyes. We just read about it, right? Hebrews 4, 12 verses 4. Listen to what he says. In struggling against sin, because we all struggle, you have not yet resisted to the point of shedding your own blood. You know what he's saying? He's saying that we are to obey God's commandments. He is saying that we are to follow Yah's voice. He's saying that we are to abide by His righteous rulings, His laws, even if it means the spilling of our blood. We have not yet resisted. You know what? He spilled His blood. Matter of fact, every one of the apostles spilled their blood to honor the Messiah and to honor Yahuwah's commandments. They gave their life in honor of it. Brandon, you got something you want to say?
Yeah, it says here in 12:4, it says, Thus you in your struggling with sin have not resisted to a bloody death.
I wish I'd have sent me that. That's a good one. In other words, we are to obey God's commandments. And even Messiah said it in Revelation, you are to be faithful even to the point of death. Be faithful to what? Faith without works is, and it's not the hearers of the law that are declared righteous, but and do we nullify, Romans 3, last thing he says, do we nullify the law of God through faith through faith in Messiah? God forbid. Yea, we establish, we uphold, we obey the commandments of God because of our faith in Messiah. Hebrews 12:4 just said that we are to obey God's commandments to the point of spilling our own blood and even death if it means it. Hebrews, come on down 10 more verses to chapter 14. Look at what he says. Pursue shalom, peace with everyone, and holiness. Holiness, kadosh, meaning you are to learn what it means to be holy, to be His set-apart people. This is what he's talking about. Pursue peace with everyone and holiness. Holiness means that you are to learn what it means to be holy. Without it, no one. Without you learning about Yahuwah's shalom, and without you learning what it means to walk in His holiness, to be His set-apart people, without it, no one will see the face of Yahuwah. Do you want to see the face of Yah? We all must die. Do we want to see the face of Yah and hear Him say, well done, my faithful servant? This is how you hear that. To be faithful, repentant, and obedient, no matter what the cost. However, the last thing that you want to hear is Matthew 7, that though you claim me as your Lord, I'm have to declare to you, depart from me, you worker of lawlessness, you who did not do the will of my Father who is in the Shamaim, and obey His law. That will be a sad day. For the Scripture, Messiah warns us many times. Scott will get you in just a second. Messiah told us many times that many false prophets and teachers and preachers would arise in the last days because of the increase of what? Lawlessness. Pursue peace with everyone and holiness, because without it, you will not see the face of Yah. And I'm going to go here. Say this to the Israelites, Yahuwah, the Elohim of the fathers, the Elohim of Abraham, the Elohim of Isaac, and the Elohim of Jacob, has sent me to you. This is my name forever, Olam. This is how I am to be remembered in every generation. This is exactly what John is trying to say in John 1. In the beginning was the Word, Logos, and the Word was with Elohim, and the Word was Elohim. He was with Elohim in the beginning. All things were created. Oh, remember what I taught you guys a couple weeks ago about the angel of the Lord, who he really is? That makes sense now. This is where John is getting this from. He was with Elohim in the beginning. All things were created through him. And apart from him, not one thing was created that was created. Life was in him, and that life was the light of men. The light shines in the darkness, yet the darkness did not overcome it. There was a man named Yochanan, or John, who was sent from Elohim. He came as a witness to testify about the light, the Or, so that all might believe through him. He was not the light. He came to testify about the light. The true light, who gives light to everyone, was coming into the world. He was in the world, and though the world was created through him, yet the world did not recognize him. He came to his own, and his own did not receive him. But to all who do receive him, he gave them the right to be the children of Yah. To those who believe in his name, who were born not of blood, or by the will of the flesh, but of the will of men, but of Yah. The Word became flesh and tabernacled among us. We observed his glory, the glory of the one and only Son from the Father, full of grace and truth. Listen to this, guys. Yahuwah existed with our fathers Abraham, with Isaac, Isaac, and Yaakov, and Jacob. He existed, remember, the I am that I am? He existed with Moshe, and he will exist with his people for all eternity. He existed before time was created, even before Bereshith or Genesis, and he will exist after Revelation, when all things written of the end have been revealed and fulfilled. This is why the book of Revelations was given to Yochanan or John, for it reveals who Messiah Yeshua really is. That's what the whole book is about, is to reveal who he is. Yeshua is the I am. He is the Hebrew Aleph Tah and the Greek Alpha and Omega. He existed even before Bereshith with the Father, for he is the Word, the Logos. For him and the Father are one. His Word is one, and Echad. Messiah is the living Torah scroll. This is deep, guys. Listen to what I'm about to say. Messiah is the living Torah scroll of human flesh, written upon by the blood of Yahuwah himself. This is why he declared before Abraham, I am. And this also is why Peter, James, and John, or Kepha, Yaakov, and Yochanan were shown the Mount Sinai, the Mount of Transfiguration, where they seen Messiah in all of his glory. With who? With Moses and Elijah, the great prophets. Because Messiah is the messenger of Yahuwah. He was the one speaking to Moses in the burning bush. He was the one speaking to all of Israel from the fire pillar, giving them the 10 words. And he is the one even now speaking to all of us, teaching us the revelation of his Torah. He does so because the end is being fulfilled from the very beginning. Blessed is a person who does not walk in the counsel of the wicked, nor stands in the path of sinners, nor sits in the seat of scoffers. But his delight is in the Torah, the law of Yahuwah. And on his law he meditates day and night. He will be like a tree planted by the stream of water, which yields its fruit in its seasons, and its leaves does not wither. And in whatever he does, he prospers. The wicked are not so, but they are like the chaff which the wind blows away. Therefore the wicked will not stand in the judgment, nor sinners in the assembly of the righteous. For Yahuwah knows the ways of the righteous, but the ways of the wicked, they will perish. Thank you, everybody, for watching online. Sabbath shalom, everyone.